song video, and more at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. As you guys know, comedy has gotten too soft these days. You can't make fun of certain people or you'll get cancelled. This is usually said by the same people who got upset when the Babylon Bee, a right-wing version of The Onion that makes fun of the libs like 7 times a day, published this piece. "The white race must maintain our genetic purity," says Inbred Man. Oh man, you should have seen how upset their readers got. The irony of people saying the writer should be fired, just outstanding. I'm paraphrasing this a bit, but Bill Burr once described comedy as like being in a circle where everyone points and laughs at someone in the middle, and everyone's fine with this until it's their turn in the middle. Then it's no longer comedy, it's serious discourse to them. My impression kind of fell off there, but of course people want their comedy to align with and affirm their political views, to a point where people will often interpret comedy differently to do so. I know you're tired of people lib-splaining All in the Family to you, but the entire premise was that Archie was not the bad guy. He was a man who cared about his family, good provider, loving husband, but who was stuck in the past, unable to relate to his more progressive daughter and son-in-law, who he felt were constantly browbeating him, and his wife, who just wants to keep the peace. That was the intended premise. But the people who go, "Oh, you couldn't make that show today," are just focused on the laughs they got from Archie saying things like black beauties or the various slurs that, yes, you couldn't get away with saying on network TV anymore. Or getting Lionel to say, "electrical engineer." This is a true story. I know a person whose father wouldn't let them watch any TV shows with black people on them because, quote, "if I have to see them outside every day, I don't want them in my house." But was fine with All in the Family because Archie made fun of them. These people existed. But someone is trying to bring back real comedy. The comedy you miss if for some reason you don't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And that someone's name is, well, no one really knows for sure, because they're trying to remain anonymous. But if you haven't been properly introduced, let me present to you the new norm. Declaring itself the first animated sitcom on X, never actually going to call Twitter that, the cell line is, "The new norm is an animated sitcom for our woke world. An edgy yet family-friendly comedy that shines a funny light on today's most divisive issues and gives Americans a safe space to come together and laugh." Never has a sentence said so much and so little all at once. But anyway, the reason I brought up All in the Family is that obviously it's the inspiration for whatever this is. Norm is obviously meant to look like Archie. We have his liberal foils, his daughter, and the pink-haired they-them who always wears a mask. And just to make sure you understand who the audience is meant to be, we have this graphic on the website. "Those were the days when girls were girls and men were men." Picture from All in the Family, of course quoting the theme song. "These are the days when girls aren't girls and men aren't men." Picture of Dylan Mulvaney with the Bud Lights. "Now is the time for the new norm." The website makes no mention of who is behind this, which should be a massive red flag. Shit, the guy who runs the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillon, is more than happy to let you know who he is. But then again, Chaya from Libs of TikTok was pretty upset when her identity was revealed, claiming she was doxxed when Taylor Lorenz revealed who was behind the Twitter account. The show is a spin-off of an online comic strip called Woke World, which still has an Instagram page, but their website is gone. Some Reddit sleuth found an archived version of it at one point that listed the names Akiva and Sophia Perel as the creators, Yariv Newman as the artist, and Jose Behar as the developer. But they have since asked the Internet Archive to exclude their site from the Wayback Machine. That's how much they don't want to be known. But why? I mean, if your work is this good, shouldn't you be proud to put your name on it? Well, I thought it'd be fun to review the show that says it will make America funny again. There are 3 episodes so far. They're all about 2 to 3 minutes long, and new episodes are hard as fuck to find on their exclusive platform of choice because Twitter's a shit website for video archives. You have to scroll forever, or you have to know that the new Highlights tab exists. The pilot, which was viewed 40 million times, sees Norm grab a beer, only to find out, whoa, the can is rainbow-colored. Anyway, he's been placed under house arrest because he caused a scene at his daughter's school where they're indoctrinating her with wokeness. And as part of his probation, they've sent this pink-haired they-them, played by Dave Rubin, to live in his house and re-educate him on how not to be racist. But then, Norm's black friend shows up wearing a Washington Redskins jersey because that'll trigger their libs. And pink hair shows that they are actually the racist one by suggesting it's weird that a black person would be friends with Norm. Anyway, the episode closes with him opening the beer, spraying himself in the face, saying, "I just wants normal's beer." And then there's an AI-generated country song that ends with, "Thank God for Elon Musk," and X is the home of free speech. Really giving that taint a good tongue bath. Elon boosted the first episode by reposting it, so conspiracies started flying around that he's actually funding it. And yeah, sure, I could imagine he could dig up the $12 this costs to make, but anyway, we move on to the second episode, Electile Dysfunction. The premise here is that both sides are ready to leave the country depending on the result of the election. The left, literally in a lineup on the left, are going to take an Amazon rocket ship to Canada if Trump wins, which of course is the classic way to get here. And if Kamala wins, the right, lined up on the right, well, they're going to board a SpaceX rocket to Mars. I'm just glad we finally have a comedy that doesn't beat you over the head with the message, you know? Anyway, Elon and Trump show up, and an auto-tuned rendition of Trump talking about how they're eating the pets plays, which causes both sides to run over and start dancing. And Norm's wife, the Edith character, says, "Maybe we all can get along." But, uh-oh, someone takes a shot at Trump and, it's Hillary! Elon saves Trump's life, the rocket flies off, and then it's revealed that the rocket to Canada is being piloted by a DEI-hired drag queen who goes, "Oh, what's this button do?" and presses a button to launch it. And now both sides start yelling, "Now we're stuck here with you! No, we're stuck here with you!" They start calling each other names, then cut to Russia, where it turns out Putin was behind the whole thing. But that fool has been hoisted by his own petard. I said petard, it's fine. The DEI-hired drag queen has flown the Amazon rocket directly into the Kremlin. And it ends with Musk and Trump dancing in space with a lower third that says, "Stay tuned for merch." And the last 30 seconds of the video is literally an ad for the new Norm beer cozies. So you can cover your rainbow drag queen emblazoned cans, which of course all beer has now, as you know, so that no one can see you drinking the queer beer. I mean, I guess you could tell it's just like a cartoon from the good old days and that it only exists to sell you shit, but it's so fucking weak. Like, it's so unwilling to take any real edgy comedic chances. Why is Hillary the one with the gun? She hasn't even been relevant for like 8 years now. Why are the creators too cowardly to make it someone like Biden, who falls asleep and misses? Or Kamala, who misses because she's holding it sideways like a gangsta? If it must be Hillary, have her realize she's holding the gun and drop it because she's a liberal, so she's afraid of them. Or have Norm make a joke like, "Well, it's a good thing she wasn't a Republican. She would have actually known how to shoot then." The irony of the sniper scene is really just how bad it misses the mark. They call this the South Park of X. When South Park does stuff like PC Principle or the Strong Woman episode with Macho Man, they're going so over the top with it that it's absurd, but they're willing to push that envelope. On a mainstream media platform, by the way. Meanwhile, on the free speech platform, New Norm is so afraid to actually do anything edgy. The bullet doesn't even graze Trump. They're too afraid to have the DEI drag queen pilot have stubble or like a nut poking out. I don't know, maybe have a child in the cockpit that she's reading stories to, and then they can maybe say, "Hey, later I'll give you a tour of the real cockpit." Like, if you're going to make comedy that makes fun of the libs, make fun of them. This is uncensored on X, the free speech platform, and you're so fucking afraid to say anything. Put your names on it. This is the most cowardly comedy I've ever seen. The third episode is just one joke for a minute 45, as both sides accuse the other of rigging democracy, or if their side wins, it's World War III. And then an AI-generated song about normal beer plays to, once again, sell you the beer cozy to cover your gay beer cans. Because this whole thing is literally just a grift to sell you merch. They've put more effort into the web store than they have the show, or even the actual website, where you can't even watch the fucking episodes. I'll tell ya, their pal Elon once claimed that X is making comedy legal again. Well, even if comedy was illegal, I can assure you that the new norm has broken no laws.